What is going on, guys? This is Michael Williams from Cartoon Universe. I'm joined again by Hailey, and we got a lot to digest from the recent Miraculous episodes. I'm so hyped. If you have not seen them yet, don't know what you're doing here, definitely leave. We're gonna be talking about all the spoils, so you're gonna want to not stick around for this. But these episodes were Style Queen and Queen Wasp. This is two parts of a three-parter, ending with Mal Dictator. This arc is so crazy. These are probably two of my, if not maybe my two favorite episodes yet, just because of how they handle the characters. So what were your overall thoughts, Hailey? And then we can get into the more nitty-gritty details.
I agree. I love these two episodes. They did feel like they advanced the plot quite a bit. Finally, I mean, it feels like lately it's been boom, boom, boom with getting like new Miraculouses, you know, seeing the Kwamis, all that stuff. It's been finally what we've been waiting for since, you know, season 1 ended, and it's here. And I'm not sure how much more we have of season 2, but I mean, it won't be too bad because season 3 will be right around the corner apparently.
We have been getting a lot of Miraculous and Kwami and stuff like that, which is good. Because there was a little bit of a lull period there during the season. They did like Rena Rouge, and then they just kind of forgot about it for a while, and then they kind of are getting back into it. And it's actually surprising that Chloe was not given this Miraculous. I guess it's not surprising, but Marinette literally lost it.
Oh no, I totally called that. Like, I feel like I can't remember exactly what I said, but I knew there was going to be some foul play there with Chloe. Like either she'd get it and not want to give it back, or she'd take it, and that's kind of what happened. Although I guess I didn't expect Marinette to totally misplace it. I more expected Chloe to just take it from her sneakily, like
wow.
But it turns out Marinette just dropped it, right? I think.
Yeah, she just dropped it in the Ivory Tower. We can get to that later.
Okay.
The big thing, we get officially revealed that it looks like Emilie Agreste is probably straight up dead. And that's not really that surprising per se. That's pretty much what we all assumed from the get-go. I know that they tried to do the little okey doke at us and say, oh, she went missing a year ago or whatever, but it still seemed like she was probably dead. They just kind of tried to fake us out a little bit, which brings up a lot of interesting questions. So this answers what was in that basement, what was going on with the basement. Gabriel does know about it, and Emilie is 100% there, and she looks like she's dead, which is interesting because if she is dead, I mean, obviously it's a kid's show, they can't show anything, but she's pretty well preserved for a dead person who's been dead over a year. I feel like if they could have just had a coffin with her picture or something. They just like went full out, like here's her body, you know. I guess maybe Gabriel has some tech or something to preserve her, or maybe, I don't know, it's a cartoon, she just doesn't decompose the same way or something like that. But I don't think she's sick or anything because they had like the flowers on the coffin and stuff like that. She could be sick potentially. Maybe she's in a coma, maybe. That's another possibility. Maybe that's why she's not like straight up like a skeleton at this point. But yeah, we have that confirmation, so that's where she is.
Yeah, so she's kind of like, just reminds me of how she was like kind of like Snow White. She's just perfectly preserved in that casket thing. I don't know what to call it. But yeah, that was crazy. I totally was on board for her just having gone missing, and Adrian and Gabriel telling Adrian, oh, you know, she died, but him secretly knowing she was gone. But it turns out there was no lie about her being dead, apparently, unless that's a fake or something. But that doesn't make no sense. But this, that's big, I'd say. And that brings up a lot of questions that I don't know if you want to get into later.
No, we can. Yeah. I mean, we could talk about it now. I mean, about like why he lied and stuff like that.
No, just like his motives. So now, like, how do you feel about Hawkmoth's motives now? Like, he wants to get her back, bring her back to life, right? That's what we know. How do you feel about that now, knowing that she is there, right there, and you know he feels so bad about it. He wants to get her back so bad.
I mean, I loved it. This is really one of the most humanizing episodes for Gabriel / Hawkmoth, because we now get to see him like really kind of grieving and wanting to do this thing that he really believes is good and he just really desires, and not just for him but also for Adrian, because he even says that he wishes he could tell Adrian that he's doing this, but if he knew why, you know, he would actually understand. So it was like really meaningful. We really see that Gabriel does genuinely care about Adrian, even if he's a little hard on him at times and a little bit overprotective. He really clearly does care, and he really wants to be there for him. But I really, really loved the moment, especially when he decided he was just gonna straight up quit. The moment between him and Nathalie, which is really like feely. We had like the music bells and violins in the background, and like we just really see the first real moment of absolute just sadness and frustration from Gabriel after all his time in Hawkmoth, which was just I loved it. It just made him such a more compelling villain, and I'm almost rooting for him in a way now, because like it just really made him a person. And that's what I really loved about these 2 episodes, because we could talk about Chloe in a bit, but the same thing with Chloe, like we really dove really deep with the characters and their motivations and why they are the way they are. And that's pretty deep for Miraculous so far. Because Miraculous, for the most part, we get stuff here and there, but it's pretty surface level. The characters are very charming. We have some meaningful moments occasionally, and dive into character development and motivations occasionally. But for the most part, it's pretty basic, especially through season 1. But these 2 episodes, I feel like, put Miraculous to the next level of writing potential, because they really dove into the characters in a deeper way. Yeah,
and so now that we know that Gabriel, is doing all this, really to save his wife's life, I don't know. Obviously, he's still a bad guy, and the ends don't justify the means. Of course. But like, do you think he could just I don't know, ask for the miraculous or something? Like, my wife's dead here. Please just let me borrow them.
I had the same thought. Like, you could just ask, but I feel like if he were to ask, it wouldn't go over well. I feel like Master Fu, let's say he asked Master Fu, just hypothetically. Master Fu would probably say something along the lines of, "Oh, that's disturbing the balance of nature, yada yada," or something along those lines. But he also just straight up doesn't know, I guess, who Ladybug and Cat Noir are, so it's hard to even ask for the Miraculouses, because they have to keep their identities a secret too. So they probably wouldn't even give it to him if he asked for them and explained it to them. I don't know. Maybe he tried one day. Maybe there's a flashback somewhere where he tried and asked politely, and it didn't go over.
Also, we don't really know what would happen if somebody were to wear both Miraculouses at the same time, right? We don't. That's not we discussed. I mean, it could just be too much power. That's it's a bad idea. Even though potentially you could bring somebody back to life. Yeah, like you said, you shouldn't do that.
Yeah, it's probably risky to even use both of those, because you do get the ultimate power, but we don't really. Yes. They don't really explain in depth what that is. Obviously, you have the ability to bring people back to life or wake them up from a coma or something, whatever. But we don't really know what that entails. That maybe it means you could just straight up do anything. So it's just risky for pretty much anyone to have. And it seems like the Miraculouses do kind of change the personality of the person holding them a little bit. Okay. Like Marinette is more confident and outgoing when she's Ladybug compared to when she's herself. Adrian's a little bit more of a troublemaker, a little more sassy. Compared to himself, he's like more reserved and kind and all that stuff. Chloe's the same, pretty much.
Well,
and Hawkmoth, Gabriel is very put together, very stoic, and he seems to have some real human moments with Adrian and stuff like that. But then when he's Hawkmoth, he's this obvious villain, is obvious, like mwahaha, I'm an evil person. So it seems like their personalities, they don't necessarily change, but they kind of alter. Like, it's still them. Like, it's not like they get possessed or anything. But I would imagine if you have both Miraculouses, your mind might break or something, or get corrupted or something like that. That's another possibility.
Yeah, I agree. We'll have to see where that goes. But something else interesting going along with the Gabriel stuff is Nathalie.
Yeah.
Big development for her. Seems like she's going to be coming into the picture more soon.
Mm-hmm.
What we do know, there's just so much stuff for this show that has been revealed that it's really hard to keep track.
Right.
So there's the Heroes Day thing, and we know she's going to be akumatized, I believe, into Catalyst. Sorry about that. I believe. And besides that, we don't know if she has any other further importance. But I feel like, to me, it was kind of hinted that she's gonna get the Peacock Miraculous and be Myra.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that's pretty much what we're all leaning towards. I don't know why specifically Gabriel is keeping the Peacock Miraculous locked away. because he seems very frustrated, but he hasn't even tried to use that Miraculous. It's like, dude, you have an extra thing that can make you more powerful, presumably. We don't know what the Peacock Miraculous does yet, per se, but it's weird that he just isn't even bothering to use that at all. It's very confusing. I'm also curious as to how, if she does get the Miraculous, she's going to become his boss. So maybe she's just fed up with him just being incompetent or something along those lines.
I couldn't tell if she's either annoyed with him or like in love with him or like both.
Yeah, I think it might be both. She definitely seems like she's in love with him for sure, because especially that hug was very intimate. She was like that over the shoulder while he's sitting down, like intimate reach around hug. I was like, oh, okay, Nathalie, I see you. That was a very touching moment. So clearly Nathalie like loves Gabriel.
Yes.
And she's very clearly invested in this family, including Adrian. It seems like the theory that she is also Emilie is pretty much debunked. Emilie's in the casket.
Yes.
But I'm not totally convinced yet, even though I know I should be. Hear me out.
Rose is pink diamond all over again.
It is actually a very similar thing, because I feel like they might, just saying might, all right, comments, everybody relax, everybody calm down now.
I can hear the comments now.
Here's the thing, she clearly has a very motherly instinct with Adrian, and she clearly seems to be in love with Gabriel, and we see that scene where she kind of closes the door and she's just exhausted, emotionally drained completely, whether it's because Gabriel keeps trying, or maybe she is Emilie, because I theorize that the Peacock Miraculous might be able to create illusion. So it's possible she created the illusion that Emilie was down in the basement and she's just Nathalie for whatever reason. I don't know why. I don't know what the motivations would be. Still just a theory, but it may totally not end up happening. But it's possible she knows that what he's trying to do all this crazy stuff for her, even though she's totally fine and right there the whole time. But that's just a theory. I don't know. What do you think about that possibility?
So, no, the Fox Miraculous already makes illusions, so it'd have to be something different. Maybe it can make like dummies or whatever, lifeless bodies. Like you know how we saw that. We saw Emilie's body. So maybe if you were saying, that's her, or maybe it's a shape shifting something.
Yeah, it was something along those lines where something can be altered. Especially since peacocks are known for, them showing off a certain type of thing, you know what I mean? Kind of performing in a way.
Yes.
So that would kind of make sense. I don't know how that would have created a fake body. Maybe it's just wax body. I don't know. That explains the lack of decomposition. But I don't know. That's just a thought.
That makes her the mastermind of everything, because she's like, okay, if I pretend to be dead, my husband's gonna go crazy and try to get me back and try to kill everyone in the city.
I mean, if she is the holder of the Peacock Miraculous, that would make sense for her to be Hawkmoth's boss, Yeah,
and then she's like, I'm gonna be the boss of him, and then happy family at the end.
Yeah, I don't know how that adds up. There's clearly some backstory we don't know, because we don't even know like if she is dead, how she even quote unquote died, per se. Like, how did she die and Adrian didn't know, but it wasn't like, it doesn't seem like it was some sort of car accident or plane accident or something like that. Like, it seems like it was something internal, like she had a disease, but it didn't seem like Adrian was aware she was sick. And I feel like that would be a hard thing to even hide.
Yeah, I don't know how she could be so intact right there,
Yeah, so that's very interesting. Mm-hmm. I guess this would, just going back to Gabriel, I guess this really would explain why he would lie to Adrian saying she's missing, because this adds up, because he would have to pretend that she's been alive the whole time, and then they just miraculously, pun intended, found her after he gets the ultimate power or whatever. If he tells people she's dead and she just comes back, then it's kind of suspicious that this man happened to have the ultimate power to bring people back from the dead, and she just happens to come back from the dead. He might be Hawkmoth. Like, so it's more so just to hide the fact that he's Hawkmoth.
That's a great point.
Yeah,
that's actually a great point. I agree.
Yeah, for the most part. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it for my tinfoil hat conspiracies for the most part.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
That would have been an interesting. You talked about that before in the video, Nathalie being Emilie.
Yeah, we have a whole video about that, so you can check that out. You just go click that video. smash that video. Yeah, so I did talk about that. This definitely puts a damper on that theory, but I do think it's still theoretically possible, but we'll have to wait and see, because this show does like to pull fake outs. But
yeah,
the other thing I really loved, this was from the episode following, which was Queen Wasp, which was the development with Chloe, which I didn't quite like the way it ended, really, but I enjoyed kind of diving into Chloe's character, because clearly Chloe's mother is a terrible human being, which she's so terrible that Gabriel swore that she was like a masterpiece of a villain, because she had just so much evil and badness in her heart that she just made for the perfect akumatized person. So I love that she's just really terrible, because it really shows where Chloe gets it from, and also how it stems from her own insecurities and feeling unloved and unwanted by her own mother. So that's kind of partially why she attacks everyone else around her also. I found that really interesting, and I kind of hated how they ended it with, oh, we're both terrible people, we should get along. Like, I kind of hated that. I wish Chloe could have had some sort of, maybe not full redemption, but some semblance of more character development, because now it just seems like they're both just going to go back to their own ways and not address the fact that clearly her mother is an awful, irredeemable mother who can't even remember her own daughter's name half the time throughout this episode. So what did you think about that whole plot point?
I did like to see, more about Chloe's mother. Obviously, that was interesting to see her, and we did kind of guess that she wouldn't be the best person, because we knew for a while that she kind of just went away, and she's a very busy lady,
yeah,
but she's also a big jerk. So that's where Chloe kind of gets, some of her issues from. I don't know, like her personality issues, I'd say. But I mean, some people are like, oh, maybe she'll be. I definitely, this is toward like Chloe redemption, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And not all of it's her fault now, that the way she acts, I'd say. I don't completely forgive her yet, like for the way she treats Marinette sometimes, or her other friends, or what she's done, how she's caused so many akumatizations. But
right.
I definitely think it's happening. She'll be redeemed, and she'll get to use the Be Miraculous again, because like we talked about, she kind of just took it and wanted to get back. And then she just let everyone know her secret identity. Like, she never had one.
I was like, yo, she did not just do it in front of everybody. Like, that was the perfect like group of people to do that. Like, you had a Hawkmoth, Ladybug, and Cat Noir right there in front of you. Like, that was the craziest thing. She straight up Tony Starked them. She's like, yeah, I'm Iron Man. What's good? What's poppin'? I love that moment. That was so dope. Yeah, I just feel like they had a great opportunity with her and her mother to really develop both those characters, and just kind of, I just feel like her mother should not be forgiven for being a terrible mother that fast. Obviously, it makes sense, it's if you would just want love for your mom, and your mom finally gives it to you, I guess it makes sense that they would kind of band together. But I hope that gets addressed again. I hope Chloe kind of realizes how terrible her mom is, and she kind of learns to, kind of step away from her toxicity a little bit in the future, and gets a little more character development. But we did get to dive deeper into why the way she is. So I like that a lot. That was cool.
Definitely. And something I wanted to note is that Marinette was originally going to give Alia the Be Miraculous.
Yeah.
And that's interesting that, like, it's not really, it's not really specific to the person. Like, you can just give as many as you want to them, obviously not at the same time. But that's crazy.
Yeah, that was an interesting choice. Obviously, we knew that wasn't going to happen. That would have been a cool surprise. Like, oh, Alia has it first. That's cool. But obviously, Alia is going to end up being Rena Rouge pretty much permanently. So that's not too surprising. But another interesting thing about this episode was it seems like it might be setting up Marinette going to New York in the future, because we know that it was announced like over a year ago now. Zag is super lenient with these things. They announced that they'll be traveling to other places. We saw that Marinette will be going to China at some point. We got some artwork for that, and we also had artwork for her going to New York. So obviously there's going to be some bigger threat. There's more heroes that, as confirmed, in this world of Miraculous. So it's pretty dope that we kind of get New York directly referenced, and a potential, for Marinette actually going there at some point, maybe to pursue fashion initially, or maybe that's like a side plot. She's like, has to go to beat this threat, but also for fashion as a B plot or something like that. But it seems like they might be setting the stage for that, because now we know a main character who has previously lived in New York, even though she's going to stay in Paris now. It's possible we may end up having her utilized for the characters, the cast, go to New York at some point.
Yeah, that's definitely exciting. Like you said, we know so much about this show that has yet to transpire. We might not get for years, honestly.
Yeah.
And that's pretty crazy. But now it's finally cool to see that we can talk about the other Miraculous holders without getting our videos taken down. So that's great, right?
Yes, bless. Until they release the other 5 secret heroes in the next big convention, and you can't talk about it for another 3 years. Yeah, that was pretty much it for this episode, the big stuff. I loved that Plague was pretty much confirmed to have caused the sinking of Atlantis, the leaning of the Tower of Pisa, and the extinction of the dinosaurs all by himself. That was amazing.
I mean, that's interesting. We didn't know about this. We didn't know that Kwamis could use their powers.
Yeah.
Without them, in fact, they're even more powerful, it seems, because he caused this extinction of the dinosaurs, which is
and clearly his cataclysm almost destroyed all Paris. People definitely would have died if Marinette didn't fix that.
Yeah, so that does bring up so the Miraculous holders just kind of focus the power, or they're just more responsible, or it's an interesting dynamic that I'm glad they I don't know, it's cool that they went that deep with it. I've been doing that more lately, more specifics of individual Kwami, whatever. I think that's great. They're not just kind of friends. There's more to the Kwami than we know.
Yeah, it was really interesting because I wonder what that would mean for, say, Tiki. What would her power be without being focused into the Miraculous? What would the Lucky Charm even do on a bigger scale? That's really confusing. Maybe the other Kwami specifically, it's not as big a deal for them to use their powers outside of the Miraculous, but it seemed like Master Fu specifically did not want Plague to use any of his powers because of the nature of his powers is so inherently destructive that it's hard to control, I guess.
Yeah, that could be it. I just thought it was so cool to learn all that.
Yeah, but I would imagine it's probably deeper than that, because otherwise what's the point of having the Miraculous? You might as well just have the Kwami floating around saving everybody, because they're clearly more capable. I feel like having Tiki instead of Ladybug would technically make more sense, because I don't think her powers are really destructive per se.
And all Miraculous the jewelry does is to serve to get potentially lost and into the wrong hands.
Right.
Like with Hawkmoth, because I'm sure Nuru would do the right thing in an instant if it came down.
Yeah. It seems like all the Kwami are inherently good so far.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's just the masters.
We saw all of them pretty much, I think.
Yeah, but we know there's more out there somewhere that is not in that box. So maybe there's some evil ones that exist that we're just not aware of.
That would be interesting, actually.
Yeah.
But we'll have to wait and see, I guess.
Yep. So I think that's pretty much it for me. Do you have any final thoughts about these 2 episodes and what you think is going to happen in the final part of this arc?
So it's going to be Chloe's father. We'll see that very soon. It's interesting how they released both of these at once and then now Dictator a week later. So it's a synopsis. When Chloe threatens to leave Paris, Mr. Bourgeois gets akumatized and now Dictator. Invested with absolute power, he wants to make his daughter's dream come true so that she stays with him. He's a pretty good dad.
He tries.
I'm desperate. So this is okay. I did hear some of this because from San Diego Comic-Con. So
okay, yeah, that's right.
I can't remember exactly what happened, but I think it was pretty good.
I'll take your word for it then.
Chloe again getting Miraculous, more development with not Emily. Well, I mean potentially we'll see her again because we saw her we saw her in both episodes, right? We saw Emily.
Yeah.
And we saw Gabriel and Nathalie were a big part of both. So there's no reason to think that won't continue on too. Yeah,
it's slowly becoming some of my favorite parts of the show now. Just from these 2 episodes, I really hope they do more of those moments where Gabriel's really humanized. But yeah, I'm curious, since everybody knows who Chloe is as Queen Bee, if they ever do form this whole hero group, I wonder how that might change the dynamic. Because the other characters kind of have to make sure that they're not revealing their identities also. So they can't really be too annoyed with Chloe as they're teaming up. So she kind of has to chill out there. Otherwise, someone might accidentally expose themselves, I feel like.
That's an interesting point. I didn't really think about that. Because Queen Bee is the different one now that everyone knows her identity. So I wonder, if Alia might slip up. I don't know.
Yeah, so everyone knows Chloe's Queen Bee. Marinette knows Alia is Rena Rouge. She also knows that Nino is Carapace. Adrian doesn't know anything.
Yeah. Oh,
poor Adrian.
poor boy. Yeah.
Rip. So yeah, interesting. I'm just really excited. I think the show's really about to hit its stride right now. I think they're really diving into some really good territory. I hope they keep it up. I hope they build up even more than they already have. Seems like they have some really big stuff planned, so I really hope they really go ham, because I mean, we don't have that many characters left to akumatize. I mean, they keep making new ones up, so I guess that doesn't really mean anything, but eventually we're gonna have to get out of Paris, so I can't wait to see how this expands. But this has gone on long enough. What do you guys think about these 2 episodes, and what do you think is going to happen in the next one? Definitely curious to know what you guys think. Let us know in the comments down below. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe. Hit the notification bell, because we're definitely going to be diving more into these plot points. Might do some theory videos on some of the stuff we talked about. Not sure. There's definitely some interesting tidbits there. And we're definitely going to be talking about Maldictator once it drops. So thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.